Hi, welcome back to this video series about adding the ZList component into the ZStyle library. On the previous episode, we have integrated the SectionList component from React Native into the ZStyle library. So we can continue working on the ZList. And the next step now is about finally integrating the SectionList into the ZList component. To start with, I'm just going to render, so I comment out the ZList component that we have here, and I'm just going to render the section list example that we have from the documentation as a starting point, like so. Now, since we have a section list available within the ZStyle library, I can use the ZSectionList, and for the text, I'm going to use the ZText from ZStyle as well. Going here, I need to import them, like so. Refreshing. So now I have the example running through ZStyle with a standard section list. So this is great. Next step would be to clear up each value that we provide to the props, to have something easier to work with when we are going to migrate the section list into the ZList components. First, so I'm going to remove the data here and put them into a sections variable, like so. Fix the indentation, save back. So now we get the same thing, but we extracted the data. One great step. Second one, we are going to extract the render item value that we're going to put SectionList. SectionList, item. Const SectionList item, like so. Now, if I save, refresh, we get the exact same thing. Third step, we are going to extract the render section header component into a section header variable. So sorry about that. Section header. Fix the indentation. Perfect. So now we have our section header. If I refresh completely, so we get the exact same thing than before, except from the example of the documentation, except we cleaned up a little bit the props, so we can see a little bit more clearly what we are working with. Now, what I'm going to do is to migrate the section list here into our ZList component. So here we have our ZList component. We return the FlatList by default, and only the FlatList, but we also want to have the possibility to return the section list, so the Z section list, in specific case. And basically, so I'm fixing the indentation here. So basically, when I look at the props one by one, so from the FlatList, we have the data props and key extractor that are working together, which are the equivalent of sections and key extractor in the section list. I put them at the top to make the parallel. So these are the exact same thing. So here we get the items, and for the key extractor, I can just copy paste the exact same thing. Same for the render item, so it's the same principle. The item that we are rendering, we will pass the same item component. So I can use the same as well, like so. Now the rest of the props will also be passed. And now I can identify that in the section list, the only props that is not available in the flat list is the render section header, and I'm going to basically use what I'm passing here, the section header, as a props. And this props will be the prop that will tell me if I want to render a flat list or a section list. So accepting the section header, and I'm going to check if section header is undefined. If this is the case, I will render just a flat list. Otherwise, so otherwise meaning if there is a section header component passed to the ZList component, I will render a section list, and the render section header props will use the section header from the ZList props, like so. So I believe that here we have done most of the job. Last step is to import the section list, ZSectionList from ZStyle, like so. And I think that we are good to go on this part here. So obviously, if I save here, go back to app.js, I didn't save that. Okay, so now that we have commented out the ZList component, we start from a blank state. I'm going to remove that. So now we have our ZList component that is just rendering the exact same thing that we had before. And the reason why is that the data didn't change at all. So I'm rendering the venues with the item components and the various actions that we have passed to it. Now what I want to render, just to continue with the example from the documentation and prove, making sure that on the basic example it's working. So I'm going to render the data from the example. So the data will be the sections here. And the section have no ID, so I'm just going to, because here we just have a title and data attributes, and the data attributes is just an array of strings. So basically the section will have no ID, so I'm just going to render the key extractor with the index of the iteration of the data. The item component will be the section list item instead of the item. Like so, we can leave the actions in there, I believe. So now, if I render that, what do we get? So yeah, so here, basically, we are rendering one item. So it's just rendering the section list item, since we didn't enter any section header yet. And the item is made of a title and data, so it's not made of a string. That's why Cognitive is complaining here. So if I render the item.title and save that, now we are able to see the title 1, title 1, 2, and 3 as a flat list. So we are just rendering a flat list here. If I want to render, a section list, as I said, I need to render a section header props, like so. I'm going to remove the title here because this is not valid anymore. And if I refresh, finally, I get back to my initial example with the sections, the title 1, 2, 3, and the items below related to the example. So if I remove the section header, go back the title here, I get a simple flat list. But if I add the section header props into my ZList component, it will know that I want to render a section list, and it will render a section list by default. So instead of having two specific components, the idea now is that a single props will tell you if you need to render a flat list or a section list. And obviously, so as you can see, the section list needs to have a specific data structure where you have a title or a name or whatever to mention here. So something that is mentioning, so here it's called title, but sorry, here it's called title, but I can rename everything as name, for instance. Saving that. it will change nothing at all. So I just have changed from title to name. So you just need to have something to grab the section identity. What will tell the section list component which data to render into the item will be the data attribute from the objects that you are rendering from it, and therefore which becomes quite similar to the FlatList, where we render data props into the list. So we can mention that it's just a FlatList within a section list that are rendered in the section list. Okay, so I think this is great. Now I just want to finish up this video to render real data from my venues. So I know that each venues that I'm fetching from this test URL got a menu attribute and got, so they got data. The menu will have a name, and we'll have a data where the data will represent the menu of a restaurant with some sections that will be starters, mains, dessert, etc. And the items will be the dishes linked to the sections. So just to make it a little bit more real, I'm going to migrate to the real example here. So basically for the data, so I want to fetch the venues. I'm going to get the first venue as an example, and I want to get a menu. And I know each menu got an ID, so I can add the key extractor property with the ID here. I'm not going to touch that. I'm going to leave it as it is and save it just to see what we get now. So yeah, here basically it's telling me that the menu of an undefined it cannot mean the menu of an undefined value, which basically means that when you refresh for the first time the components, since the async function is not over yet, the venues are undefined, therefore the first venue is undefined as well, so it can fetch the menu attribute. So what I just need to add here is to check if the venues dot length is greater than 0, then I will render the menu from the first venue, otherwise I will render an empty array, and I will just grab the ID as well. Now by refreshing that, second error. So basically now from the section header, so here we are getting the name, so this is not the issue is on the section list item. Now we are not rendering strings, so I can't render, it's rendering an object, the item is an object, so this is why React Native is complaining. And I know that I can get the name of the dish like so, and therefore now I'm able to render my starters, salad, the section of the menu that I want from the first venue. And I think basically the menu is the same for everyone, for each venue. So if I grab the second venue here, refresh, yeah, I get the exact same thing, but at least you see that it is something a bit more real compared to the example from the documentation. Therefore, I think we are done with the video. We finally integrated the section list to the ZList component by just, so here, if I remove the section header here as an example, now you see that we are just rendering the section list item that is grabbing the name of what is supposed to be the section, and therefore just rendering a flat list with the title of each section. But by just rendering the section, putting back the section header props with the related components, now I'm able to get a fully functional section list with a section title and the item related into that. For the next video, I think that we are going to style a little bit more the section list to make it look nicer, put some images as well. And to finish up, I think the next step will be to test a little bit this component with animation and see how it goes to make sure that it's working properly. See you for the next video. Bye.